Got, what do we have? 3 left? Rock on. Okay. Okay, we've got another newcomer to the stage. You're clapping already. You don't know who it is. It's Dee. Is she in the house? Dee, I saw you earlier. Oh, she's coming. Here she comes.
And real quick, before she takes the stage, Dee actually also has started a storytelling group called We Are Storied, which is fantastic. She was telling me about it earlier. They take people's stories and then they turn it into art, and people tell their stories through paintings, through music, sculpture, all kinds of things. So we're very excited to have her here on our stage.
All right, thank you guys for having me up here. I recognize that I'm a little younger than a lot of you, except maybe like those little girls in the middle. Yeah. I guess for me, a little bit about me, I just graduated from WashU. Never got to meet Tom Puck, but we met earlier while going to the bathroom. But it's very ironic to me that there was like a homeless guy that just came here, because my story that I will be sharing is kind of similar. It makes me think about my family and how before I got to St. Louis, before I got to WashU, how we were in that same predicament, and we were almost home. Less than enough food to eat, but way more than enough faith. We were almost home, almost homeless. It was less than a month after the year had just started that my mom had lost her job. My parents had just divorced. And it lasted until almost a month after my 16th birthday. And I remember during that period of time, there was a night whereby my brother, he like tripped over our vacuum in the darkness, and his elbow just crashed this painting that I had, produced and had framed and glassed for my mom. And it was just all over the floor. And I was the person who stepped on the glass. And a lot of things in my home broke during that period, and we just couldn't afford to fix it. The couch broke. We slept on that a lot. The computer broke. The computer desk broke. A lot of things broke. The water heater broke. But at that time, we couldn't afford anything. And the thing that we could afford was our faith. We could afford to be together. We could afford to stay united. And we could afford to focus. And at that time, my mom was focusing on finding another job. My big brother's focus became his 2 jobs that he had to pick up while he was still only 17. For me, my job was school. They wouldn't let me get an actual job, but they made sure that I stayed in school and that my grades were up, that my job became my art. And I remember how each day after school, I just stayed around. Like, my mom didn't pick me up from school because at the time we couldn't afford that. My teacher, my favorite art teacher, would bring me home each day. So I would wait on her to, finish her work at school. And while she was working, I would just paint and draw and sit there, do visual research and stuff. And over time, my art became, I guess, a reflection of how I was feeling. And granted, at this time, I was that kid on campus who was popular. I used to love to brag about my straight A's and all the stuff that I was doing and the student groups that I was leading at the time. But there was something inside that I was covering up. And through staying after school with my teacher, that started to get out. And over time, these sketches became these paintings. And the paintings reflected, there were some that had a family that was migrating. And there was one that had a woman that was just crying out in anguish. And there was one of this little kid who was just in tears. Like, there weren't tears, but he was about to cry. And it was that moment, that emotion that I felt inside that at the time I was too immature, too prideful to share myself. And over time, people started to realize this truth that I was letting out on the canvas. And people started, catching on to it. And I was unable to put up this facade anymore. So my art started to break this down. And just a long story short, of course, in enough time, my mom found a new job. In enough time, my big brother went back to school and started doing decently well. And then in enough time, my art got me somewhere, and it got me here to St. Louis. It got me to the campus of WashU, and it was a very lovely moment in the sense that, I had all of this behind me. I had all of this stuff that I had done, but with this new environment was presented with the same, blockade of showing and engaging and telling who I really am. And when I first got to school, it wasn't really about expression. Like, that wasn't what art was for. It was about learning and the classroom and making a good grade. But I got tired of that. I got tired of that really, really quickly. And just started saying, like, screw you, professors. Like, I'm going to do my own thing. And started sharing other people's stories. And eventually got into the graphic design program at WashU. And here we are. We're doing stuff. We're like creating other people's stories visually, and it's really cool because it's like we're breaking down barriers with our own expression, with our own passion. And I don't know. I don't think that anything in a community could really be just really done unless we all start to do that, until we start to break our own barriers, our own stereotypes, our own mind frames, our own secrets, and just be open and be real. And that's my story. That's how I got to this stage. That's how I got to where I am now. And hopefully these experiences will take me even further. So I thank you. I thank you a lot for allowing me to share.